Sony Studio has assembled strings from popular action movies into the most entertaining game for PSVR and perhaps of VR in general. When the PSVR helmet went on sale, Werewolves was released along with it, not even a game but a set of demons, with the help of which Sony tried to show the possibilities of its technology from different sides. There was a spectacular collision with a huge shark, a dizzying arcade space simulator, and a strange virtual sport in the spirit of the movie Tron. But London Heist, a short sketch in which the player became a hero of an action movie for a while, stood out the most in this list. Not surprisingly, it was the game based on Heist that Sony eventually gave the green light to. That's how we got Blue and True, one of the best VR attractions to date. The protagonist of Blood and Truth is Ryan Marks, a former soldier from the Special Forces, who performed secret operations around the world. After another mission in remote desert, country protagonist returned to London for the funeral of his father. But Marks is not given to grief. Together with his mother, brother and sister, he is thrown into dangerous criminal strife. The developers approach the narrative in Blood and Truth with an unprecedented attention for VR. The facial animation and acting here are as good as his Sony main exclusives, and the characters are so charming that you get a little attached to them during the campaign. However, the plot in Blood and Truth is not more important than in any John Wick. The main reason for its existence is to give Marks as many reasons as possible to get involved in a gunfight, sneak somewhere, find himself in the picture square place in London, or become a participant of the particular chase. This came for a long session. In the early days of PSVR, many developers couldn't accept the limitation of the format and tried to make VR with a complete freedom of movement. This usually ended in a bad way. Because of the frequent camera rotation around its axis, some players started to feel nauseous 20-30 minutes after the beginnings. Blood and Truth is not such games, but you can sit in there for the 3 hours without any problems. Instead of free movement, London Studio made branching rails. The player chooses where to go next, but can move only between predetermined points. You can see a good position, look at it, press one button, and then your virtual body moves to the place on its own. Most of the time you run from cover to cover. To make the gameplay in VR even more convenient, the developers built all levels so the player had to go only forward. The only place where the camera turns around its axis is the curved ventilation tunnels, but due to the limited view there is no feeling of nausea in them. Thus, with a couple of simple rules, the developers from London Studio managed to make a VR shooter, in which the movement through complex location is given to the player as easy as possible, and he never loses control of the situation. Moreover, in the best moments of Blood and Truth, you don't control a main character legs at all, while he's running and jumping on the beautiful location by himself. You shoot the enemies with 2 hands in slow-mo, feeling like hero of The Matrix and other cult action movies of the 19th. The main feature of Blood and Truth is exactly the tactical of everything that happens, so the developers strongly recommend buying 2 PC mode controllers. And it's not just envy. The coolest moments of the game are connected with the use of 2 hands separately. While playing Blood and Truth, you constantly have to think about what's in your hands. If you want to grab a grenade from a table and throw it at enemies, you must first free one hand by holstering your pistol or throwing a machine gun behind your back. The more you play, the more you admire. The more you admire how natural the controls turns out to be in some cases. For example, there's an episode in the game where you have to cross a chasm on a horizontally placed ladder. When you are in the middle of the ladder, several enemies come out of hiding, but you are not left unprotected. You can hang on the arm, and with other you can quickly shoot all the enemies, as John McClane would do. And closer to the final, this tactic effects only intensifies. In the player's arsenals appears automatic rifles which shoot more accurately in the 2-handed mode, or a shotgun, which after each shot you need to twitch to the bolt. The developers pays a lot of attention to making the weapon feel almost real. Optical signs in the game are not a sham, but a fully functional part of the gameplay, and unlike in a Call of Duty, Here you will bring the rifle to your eyes yourself. What to speak about neatly made puzzles, where you need to fight a screwdriver, pillars, lighter and explosives. They nicely dilute the pace of the game and enhance the effect of presence. Perhaps the only serious gameplay downside of the Blood and Fire is a reloading mechanic. You have to bring your hand to the chest, grab a clip from a bag and insert it into your weapon. Sounds simple, but in the heat of battle, this very movement can fail to count against the system, costing the protagonist his life. Blood and Wrath campaign lost about 6-7 hours, but the developers tries to make you want to play in the second time. There's a new game plus, and elements of non-linear and cinematic difficulty level, with which you don't need to think about health and ammo. Some levels have full-fledged fogs, and during the second playthrough you will be able to see alternative location. Moreover, the game has a stealth element, so select episodes change slightly depending on whatever guards have spotted you or not. Finally, Blood and Wrath has full-fledged weapon customization, which can be fully mastered only after several playthroughs, as well as a lot of minigames, including hidden targets on the maps and miniature basketball rings into which you have to throw a lump of paper. Blood and Wrath isn't just about shooting, collectibles and hacking into security system. The game knows how to entertain in a more subtle way. For example, one of the missions is devoted to vandalism in the Museum of Modern Art, and this building can be safely called one of the best VR locations in the games of recent years. There are optical illusions, interactive exhibits and even elements of horror. And at the end of most story, the game turns into a VR version of the Uncharted for a while. You become a hero of spectacular action scenes inspired by Matrix, Ethan Hunt's Adventure or other story games. After playing Blood and Wrath, there's only one question on your mind. What hasn't anyone done this before? London Studio is exactly what you expect when you buy a VR helmet, a maximum spectacular and comfortable shooter, in which the player is given the opportunity to relive scenes from his favorite action movie with a maximum immersion, to parachute in the center of London, chase a giant plane on the runway, jump out in the Fitful of rain, hanging in the air for the moment along with hundreds of shrapnel, or get involved in a firefight while simultaneously wielding a gel console. At the same time, the game is so good visually that the PSVR resolution is obviously not enough to reveal its full potential, so we like to try a remaster, which work on the next generation of consoles. Judging by last year's release of Astrobot Rescue Mission and Blood and Wrath, PSVR is finally entering a major stage of its existence. Developers have sorted out the platform's strength and weakness, and have started to squeeze all the juice out of it. And while Sony isn't talking about PSVR 2 just yet, it's still clearly confident in the future of the technology. There's a reason Blood and Wrath ends with a sequel, or perhaps even an entire franchise, and it would be great to get a sequel, because London Studio now has a really compelling formula for mass market VR gaming on its hand. Thank you for watching.